Welcome to another deep dive edition of the Chicks on the Right podcast. Today, we're very, very excited because we're going to talk about juicy dating, sort of boyfriend, girlfriend, stalking, loyalty testing kind of drama.
Right.
But
it's
before
mindless.
we get to that, mindless.
This takes our mind off of the economy and all the other, and the fact that we're going to be going to war soon. It's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah.
Right. We're going to keep it light today because the world is so freaking heavy.
Right.
But first, we need to mention really cool thing about one of our favorite sponsors, which is mypillow.com/chicks. And that favorite thing is that Mike Lindell just sent 10,000 pillows to Florida.
God bless him. I can't even, because that's the kind of guy he is. God bless him and My Pillow. Seriously. Yeah.
Right?
That's why we love him.
If that doesn't make you want to support him and buy yourself something amazing, which all their products are, from mypillow.com/chicks, I don't know what will. I mean, right? He's truly such a charitable, benevolent sort of fellow.
He's the real deal.
That's why he deserves our support. He really, really does.
He's the real deal.
mypillow.com/chicks. They've still got the sheets special going on right now. $39.98 for a queen set of sheets that feel amazing. mypillow.com/chicks. Okay. Yeah. So we have a few different topics that sort of all relate to each other that all spurred from this one article that you found about the ex-boyfriend list. And this was on the Daily Mail like a week or two ago. And it was so interesting because I feel like women would be losing their absolute shit if this was reversed and this was a man's website.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah, it's this chick. It's like I don't know her name. I don't really care.
Tracy
Teigen. She's based in the United States. She created a website that she describes as a Tripadvisor for exes. Okay, so women can leave reviews about cheating partners. Now, this site is it's just so hokey, the site. I mean, I've been to the site and I don't even want to call it a database because it's not even a database. It's literally like this really hokey website where they actually have articles out there and all the hashtags are like girl power, girl strong, girl boss, and everything is just like, we're feminine, huh? And then they put all this like, hashtag feminism stuff out there. But they have articles that are just like, how to get famous on TikTok, how to get famous on Instagram, how to be an influencer.
Oh my God.
And then it's like how to be a Shein influencer. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that they have. I'm not even kidding you. Like I scoured this website for it, seriously, because I'm like, what is this all about? And so it's one of those kind of websites. But then at the same time, they have articles out there that are like, how to get a man to obsess over you. They have those articles too.
No.
So I'm like, seriously, really? But then they just hate men. They hate men. But it's like, do you hate men? Or are you just like these bitter, angry hags that really just are dying for the attention of men because you're out there, wanting to show your boobs and stuff on the TikTok, and you're talking about trying to get a man to obsess over you. But then when, XYZ dude doesn't do what you wanted him to do, you're scorned. And then you get out there and you want to trash him on social media, which is precisely what they're doing. They're and listen, some of the things that they write about some of these guys, it's like, I thought this guy had one kid when I started dating him. Turns out he has 7. And I found that out a year into the relationship, and he doesn't wipe after he poops, and he doesn't do this, and he doesn't. I mean, the stuff they're writing about these guys, it's insane. Like, it's just these women are writing the nastiest, just most terrible things about these guys. And you're right. If guys wrote disgusting, terrible, awful, nasty things about women, they would be so mad. They'd be so mad.
Oh my God. This would never stand. I'm actually surprised that it does stand and that it's legal. But I think the reason that they keep it on sort of the up and up is that the woman who runs it, this Tracy Teigen, says you can submit a guy to our database only with their name and their city and state, and no other doxing type of information is allowed. The problem with the website is that there's a specific place where you can, submit the person's name that you want to trash, essentially. But so many people are confused by the setup of the website that instead of actually submitting the names into the database, there's now 400 plus comments on this one thread,
right,
where people are just listing all the dudes that they want to submit because they're not smart enough to actually use the database.
And that's where I was reading them. I didn't even have to go into the database. I went straight into the comments because I was like, these broads are such morons. These are the same chicks who are just like, oh my God, how do I get a man to obsess over me? I hate men. I hate them, but I want them to obsess over me. I'm a feminist. Hashtag girl power, girl boss, girl boss. Yeah, I mean, some of them could be lying. I don't know, but that's the problem that I would think men would have, is that their names, and some of them are uncommon names, right? Like they're very uncommon. Totally.
So they're going to know, they're very identifiable, and they're going to be like, that's her side of the story. What about my side? What about the fact that this woman was a crazy biatch?
Right.
And you know what I mean? Like this is just such a dangerous thing, like on every level.
She puts it out there. She's like, honor code. We know you're a good person, so you're not going to say anything that's not truthful about these guys. And that's it. It's like number 3 of the rules, right?
Right.
And you're going, okay. I mean, it's a total free for all. This is crazy. So yeah, the whole thing is just completely irresponsible. And I mean, listen, there are jerks out there who are going to do awful things, but there are also biatches who are also going to do awful things. And it just shows you how terrible social media and the internet are. It's like this. It's Lord of the Flies, man. It's like everybody's just out there. It's just crazy. People are just like, let's tear everybody down and just ruin people. I saw one guy. He was from where I lived, Greenwood, Indiana. I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, I wonder if I know him. You know what I mean?
So you were sucked in.
Right. And you know that there are women that are, and I saw that there, at the time I was out there, they had a count of people. I was like, oh, there's like 1,100 people out here right now. And so it makes you wonder, like, is it all women that's reading this? Is it men who are out there going, oh my God, am I on there? I want to see if I'm on. And so it's just a stir. I just don't like this. I think it's ugly. It's just an ugly way for this chick to make money. Personally, that's how I feel about it. Because that's what she's doing. And then it says that she writes romance novels. I'm thinking, if you look at the first page of this, like the intro page of this website, I'm like, God, she's a terrible writer. There's no way this chick could write romance novels and actually be successful at that. Because just the intro page, I don't know, maybe she didn't write the intro page. Maybe it was somebody else that did it. But I mean, terrible writing, Mock. So
now, what would you say to the people who would be like, this website is how I stopped myself from getting involved with someone who is a domestic abuser? You know what I mean? Because it's entirely possible that someone who is dating somebody and thought, I'm going to see if he's on this list because there's some red flags. Then they went out, saw the name was on the list, and then verified the red flags. Those women are going to say like, oh my gosh, it provides this invaluable service. Right?
I don't know. I mean, the stuff that I saw out there wasn't this guy beat me.
Yeah.
It was this guy, didn't flush the toilet after
I saw a lot of cheating. A lot of like people that said he cheated on me with like 3 other people, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It was a lot of cheating stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, it's kind of like, my husband and I were talking the other day about I promise you I have a point. But we were at Walmart the other day, and I was next to this one guy. I get out of the car on one side. He gets out of the car on the other, obviously. And I get out, and there's this sweet older gentleman who gets out of this just beat up car, and he has this nasty ratty dog, and it was just this older dude, and he had a ball cap on, and he was a Vietnam vet, or at least he had a ball cap on that said he was a Vietnam vet. And so I start talking to him, and he was precious, this old man. And so, I talked to him for a couple minutes, and I was, admiring his dog, because, anybody with a dog I'm going to talk to, right? And so my husband was waiting, because he was on the other side of the car. And then I went around and we went into Walmart. And my husband was like, you will talk to anybody. And I said, I know. I mean, that's just like who I am, whatever. And I'm like, and I could just tell he was a really, really good person. I just know. And he goes, how do you know? How do you know when people is it just because you looked at his ball cap and you just assumed that he was a good guy because he was a veteran? And I said, no, I just know. I think women have intuition, right? I mean, I feel like you just know, like as a woman and as an older woman, I have a sense I get a feeling. don't you get a feeling sometimes about people? Like, I think when you first meet somebody, or just like when you are around somebody, you either know like they're either it's like you don't know they're a good person or a bad person right away, but you get a feeling, you know what I mean? Like if something's wrong, I know, like I have a general sense, like the burr on my back goes up, like I feel like something is wrong if something is genuinely wrong. And I think a lot of times, I don't know, at least now I feel like a lot of women nowadays, do they just not have that? Like with men, or when they're dating men?
It's like not tuned correctly. You know what I mean? Like it's not calibrated well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there wouldn't be a need for this whole website with gajillions of women complaining about being cheated on. You know what I mean? They don't, they either they have intuition and they're denying it and they're ignoring it, or they just don't have it, which kind of leads to this whole other thing that's happening on TikTok with this chick I told you about who is charging and getting $6,500 a pop from women who hire her to go and try to seduce online only, not in person, seduce online their boyfriends or husbands. Because, like you said, they have some sort of, there's some kind of red flag going on. They have a feeling. They're suspicious that their boyfriend or husband would cheat if given the opportunity. So this girl who is hot, like she's super, super smoke, she will get all the information she needs from the girl who's hiring her about like how to slide into the DMs of this guy. She'll do it and she'll turn on the charm, right? She'll be like, hey, you're super cute. You know, she'll say all the things. And a lot of the times these guys will be like, well, you should know I'm married or I have a girlfriend. And she'll be like, I won't tell if you won't tell. And then these guys immediately are like, okay, let's meet up. And that's when the jig is up. And then the girl goes back to the hiring girl and says, yeah, here's screenshots of everything that happened. And then the destruction of relationships is happening all over the place. And marriages, this girl is making bank.
Right. And she's making $6,500 a pop just to like basically slip into somebody's DMs or to be slipped into, you know?
I mean, if you're that suspicious, why would you pay? Like there's something wrong that you're that suspicious.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
There's already something wrong where you're there's already something wrong with your relationship.
Right.
Like so you have that level of intuition where you're like, my husband is a skeeve. Or my boyfriend is a skeeve. And then there's that thing of, okay, well, I mean, like you and I have talked about this before too, where I can get into my husband's phone.
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Right. He can get into mine. Like I don't have anything to hide from him. So I can look at his crap anytime. At any time I can get into his phone. And he's just like, here's my phone. You know what I mean? So if you're at a place where you have to pay somebody almost $7,000 just to slip into their DMs and you can't get into his phone to see like what he's doing, and then you have to ask him like in a roundabout way, like I know that this happened without having that direct line to talk to him about it. That's a problem. You know,
it's a problem. That is a total problem.
Yeah,
and that's why it's just so interesting because, well, we'll get into this whole notion of like getting into each other's phones and tracking through like Life 360 kind of things in a second. But first, we need to remind everybody about how to best prepare for any kind of emergency or disaster. It's so important, like now more than ever, for you and your family to have a plan, whether it's where you're going to meet up if a meteor strikes, or what you're going to do when the zombies come, or like whatever the case may be.
Just double tap, you guys, okay? Yeah.
But I mean, these are conversations that people don't typically have because, you know, everything seems to be okay. And so they're not necessarily doomsdaying and
until they're not. Until they're not okay.
Exactly. Right. And that's why even if it seems like overly preppery to think about these kinds of things, it is so important, especially when things are so crazy in the world right now. So if you've got your bottled water supply, great. If you've got, you know, your canned goods, fantastic. But there's also a way to prepare for a food shortage or a food emergency. And that is with our friends at My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is offering 20% off of their 3-month emergency food kits. All you have to do is go to preparewiththechicks.com preparewiththechicks.com. Preparewiththechicks.com. You can get a 3-month emergency food kit for you and for every single person in your family, 20% off. Preparewiththechicks.com. All right. So you were saying you get into your husband's phone, he can get into your phone. The same is true in my household. And we all make use of the Life 360 app and there's plenty of them. It's not that I'm not like advertising that specific one. There's plenty of tracking apps where you can know based on where your husband's cell phone is at any given time, where he is, right? Because most people keep their phones with them. And so for us, it's like people have misinterpreted that so much to make it seem like I spend literally 24/7 looking to make sure where he is, which is not the case at all. For me, it's such a safety feature to be able to use when he and my son go on road trips and I can see, okay, they're just 2 hours away from their destination. Or now I know when he's going to be home, so I can tell like when I have to get XYZ ready to go or dinner ready, or you know what I mean? Like there's so many different convenient ways to use it that have nothing to do with stalking or invading privacy.
No, we've been doing the whole like, well, I mean, I stalk my kids, but we've been stalking the older kids. The older kids are now 32 and 27. We've been stalking them since, 2008? Since GPS technology was available, we've been stalking them. And the funny part is I remember, and it's so funny because you say like people think that's terrible. Well, I remember when we first did it with our older daughter, she had snuck out because she was like a senior in high school, and she had told us, I'm going to go to a friend's house to do homework, blah. And this is when we lived in the Indianapolis area. And she snuck out to see her boyfriend at Purdue University, which is like as you know, it's like an hour and a half away, almost 2 hours away. And so we had her, she didn't know she was being tracked, but we were tracking her. And so we called her on, we were livid, and we called her on it. We're like, we're tracking you. We know you're, at Purdue right now. And she's like, I am not a dog to be tracked. And she was so mad because that was new technology, right? But now everybody is tracked. Yeah. I mean, now it's like we all track one another. We track our kids now as grown kids. We know where they are. And it's so funny because she now will say about my 12-year-old, wait, why is she, in this other part of Texas and she's not with you guys? I mean, she'll call us from Dallas and say, why is she here and not with you? And she's concerned about her baby sister, you know what I mean? Not being exactly so we're like, oh my God, now she's tracking her little sister when she didn't like being tracked when she was like 17 years old. So it's just, I don't know, it's just funny how that technology is so different now, but it is a safety issue. It's all about safety. And I do it with my husband and he does that with me. And we know I think it's totally important for families to do that with one another. I think you have to do that in this day and age because this world is a crazy freaking place with crazy people. You know?
And that was what was so interesting. So I thought I'm just going to ask the question on TikTok one day and just be like, I just want to know, like, who out there tracks your family, who doesn't, why or why not? Curious. And the people that were the most insulting about the fact that that my husband and my whole family track, even my mom, like I track my mom, she tracks us, we all track each other. So the people that were the most kind of like insulting about that and judgmental about that were the people who I felt like were overly defensive for a reason. Like, what do you have to hide? Why would you think that I wouldn't want my husband to know where I am? And why would you think he wouldn't want me to know where he is?
Exactly.
Like, what the hell? Why? That is how it ought to be. Why would you want secrets? And so the people that are like, that's an invasion of privacy. Really? Isn't that the whole point of being married? Is it you're looking out for one another all the time? I just don't understand that at all.
If I go to the grocery store and somebody grabs me and shoves them in their trunk, I want him to know where I am. Hello? Yeah. I mean, this is like, it's safety 101. And I also want to know where my elderly mother is.
Exactly.
At all times. Of course I want to know that. So I mean,
now it gets a little funny, like when my husband, because he's such a speeder, so the Life 360 app will tell how fast you're going. And so my mom, I'll be here at home and Ron and Jackson will be like driving somewhere. My mom will text me and be like, why is Ron going 90 miles an hour? I'm like, okay, maybe this is a little too much.
Right. I'm just going to pretend that I didn't hear that, Mom. Yeah, and I'm not going to say anything to Ron about it because he's a speedster. No, I get that too. I'll get that from family too because I'm the speedster in the family, and I'll get that. And I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear that. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and go as fast as I want to go because I'm an adult. Yeah.
It's funny because a couple of our very, very best friends, I know they track the kids, but they don't track each other. And there was one day where we were at their house and like, and she wasn't home yet. And so, and I asked, I was like, well, can't you just see where she is on your phone? And he was like, no, I don't, that's none of my business. And I'm like, what? And, listen, to each his own. Like, that's how they want to handle it's not my business. But to me, it was so odd because that's just never how I think of it. I never think of it as being, as invading my husband's privacy. I just want to know where the hell he is because I'm married to him. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just like a whole lifestyle. And it doesn't make sense to not do it that way. But I recognize for other people, that is just not how they do.
And before we had GPS, because there was a time, right, before you had GPS when you were married. And before you had GPS, you were calling, what's going on? What are you doing? Where are you? What's happening? Yeah.
Think about before cell phones, though, right?
Yeah.
When you and I were growing up and we went to the movies with our friends, our parents could not reach us.
I know.
Can you imagine that world right now?
Yeah, how terrifying it would be. My daughter would go, she'd go nowhere. She would go nowhere. It's like, I just cannot even imagine. I can't.
I know.
I mean, I can't. Even now, like, because she has a cell phone at school with her because she's in sports, And so she's constantly like somewhere after school or whatever. And so, I mean, I'm always like, text me when you get here. Text me when you get there. Text me. It's like at every little point, at every milestone, wherever she goes, she's constantly like, I got here, mama. I got here, mama. I got here. And I'm just like, okay, good. Cause I need to know wherever she gets to every little goalpost, milestone, I need to know that she's safe, It's just a thing. My mom was like, yeah, just go, like, I don't know.
Oh my God. It's so different.
Get home whenever. And then it's like, I maybe would, I don't know, call her from a friend's house. Maybe. I mean, it's like they just would be like, go out and play. It's like the difference between our generation. It's a wonder we're all alive. Honestly.
It could not be that. That just could not happen in the world today because social media and the internet has made it so much easier to find prey when it comes to seeking out the perfect victims. I mean, now you see all the videos where if you see a railroad tie around your car handle, that's a sign, right? Like somebody has pegged you as an isolated, alone, potential victim, female.
What?
That's easy
Wait.
Yeah.
What? Say that again. Explain what you just said. I don't even.
Oh my God. So this is a thing. So if you ever come to your car and you see that there's a zip tie, like a railroad tie around your door handle, you've been tagged by traffickers as a potential easy prey. And so that is a thing now. You got to watch for it. There's so many tricks like that. Like other people will put a dollar bill under your windshield because they're waiting for you to get in your car and then see it, go to grab it because it's cash, where it's their opportunity to grab you. I mean, there's so many tricks like that like I see these all the time, these warning videos. This is the newest thing. This is how they're getting people now. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
We need to do a whole podcast on that.
Like the things to watch for, the danger signs.
All the sexual, all the sex trafficking stuff and all the sex trafficking and stuff like that. We really do. We need to do an entire podcast on that. I think that would be a really good one, especially for moms of, of younger, I want to say young girls, but it happens to boys too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just don't know. It's whoever they feel is vulnerable, who looks vulnerable and who has a pattern of showing up to a certain place alone. That is what they're looking for. And so they have these ways of sort of flagging people. And it's just nuts. And you've heard about the air tags that people will put on cars to track you.
I have.
I mean, there's so many scary things that just did not exist when we were growing up. And so our parents didn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Now that we do, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different world.
We just worried about the ice cream man,
Right.
That's it.
And not even that a lot of the time.
That creepy ass ice cream man, right? You were just like, give me my push up and get out of my face,
Give me my push up.
You know what I mean?
We called it the dilly man.
Really? You call him the dilly man? I feel like that's even
for dilly
worse.
bars. Well, I mean, it didn't make the Dilly Man any creepier. It's just what we called him.
Well, I mean, the name sounds kind of creepy. Dilly Man. It's the Dilly Man.
It was great. I always look forward to that little jingle.
Yeah, I know.
I loved it.
I know you did. I know that you did. She was in show choir, y'all. She did.
Listen, I have another email to read you from somebody who is a huge, big-time fan of Genucel. I just love getting these emails. This is so fantastic. So this is from Laura McKay. And Laura writes, I wanted to share my appreciation for Genucel. I've been on the fence about ordering and starting a new skincare regimen, but your Vegas trip changed that for me. When you did your girls' fun segment about their Crystals microdermabrasion product. Do you remember that last September?
Of course I remember. Of course. It's been like a year.
I know, it's been over a year. She said, I couldn't wait to receive the free full-size sample, and it was all you said it would be. It smelled awesome. My skin was amazing after just one application. So I placed my order for the most popular package, and when it arrived, I was a little skeptical, but after just using it for a full week, my skin took on a whole new appearance. It felt soft. There were no longer dry or oily patches. After using the full product line for over a year, I can't imagine using anything else. When you use it properly and regularly, the product lasts and your skin is hydrated through all the layers, not just the surface. I felt the line was on the expensive side until I used the full line daily, and then I realized I was using the appropriate amount of Genucel, getting amazing results for half the cost of all the other products I was having to use and not receiving anywhere close to their results. I love the full line, but my 3 favorite products that I've seen the most results are jawline treatment, the bags and puffiness lotion, and the deep correcting serum. Thank you so much for sharing your secrets of amazing skin and eternal youth. We all need to look young with the world seeming to be spinning out of control. Let's all look our best in this mess.
I love that. And I love all 3 of those products too.
I know.
Those are some of my favorites too. I love them.
They
have great stuff. It really is a great line.
Great
you
stuff.
don't have to use a whole lot. I love that point that she made. You don't have to use a whole lot. So you end up spending like less than what you would with other product lines.
Yeah,
so
and now
fantastic.
especially you can save it's 70% off of their most popular packages right now. And then they throw in the free hyaluronic acid correcting serum when you and free shipping. So I mean, really, that's a complete steal. You can check it all out at genucel.com/chicks and use code chicks at checkout. Also, we have a review.
I was going to say, we had hate mail, didn't we?
We did.
It's a nasty review. You guys, we love nasty reviews. It's so fun.
It's my favorite thing.
Okay,
by the way, if you wouldn't mind sending us a comment, leaving us a comment or review on the iTunes Apple Podcast platform, very much appreciated, whether it's good or bad.
What's this person?
Love it.
What's this person's name?
The handle is Eltoboss.
Eltoboss. Okay.
Eltoboss.
He thinks we're fascists.
Yes, 1 star. Eltoboss gave us 1 star.
Well, that's nice. He gave us a star.
Well, I don't think you have the option of leaving 0 stars.
Oh, okay. Well, here I was wishful thinking. Okay.
So they write, garbage podcast.
Okay.
If you're comfortable in your conservative echo chamber and enjoy the regurgitation of lies, then this is the podcast for you. These 2 fascists care nothing about facts as they block anyone from their platforms who doesn't share their opinion. By the way, that's false. That's fake news.
That is false. That's totally false.
We're going to fact check that right now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit is what that is.
The people that we block are people who are insulting a-holes.
Who call us...
You just outed yourself,
right.
Eltoboss.
You called us fascists. I mean, that's not okay. It's just not okay.
Let's see. They care nothing about facts as they block anyone from their platforms who doesn't share their opinion. They're more interested in selling folks gold and doomsday survival gear.
It's very important to buy doomsday survival gear, you guys, from my Patreon. It is important. We're providing a service there because we want you guys to be okay when the crap really hits the fan. So, I mean, we are interested in doing that. We're interested in doing that. And gold is very important, too. You got to have something to barter when the crap hits the fan. What are you going to do?
That's exactly right.
I mean, so that is important. But fascists, I mean, has he looked at the Democrat Party lately? Has he looked?
Who's exactly trying to censor all the speech right now? Who's trying to silence conservatives?
I don't think, thinks he doesn't know what a fascist really is.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of people.
Yeah, he probably needs to look around a little bit. That was a nice review. That That was sweet. Thank you, Alto Boss. Thank you. That was really sweet. Okay. You guys can find all of the Chicks things at chicksontheright.com/links. It has everything you ever wanted to go to Chicks-wise. chicksontheright.com/links. Go there. It's pink. It's fabulous. Alto Boss may even like it.
He may. Check it out.
You guys, until next week, have a fabulous week.
Bye.
Bye.